Well, welcome back to the Prospect Hut. In this video, we're going to talk about the scouting report for the Mets' third best prospect according to Mason Avenue. This is right-handed pitcher Jonah Tong. Now, there were a couple players that I skipped because they are no longer with the New York Mets, and that is Brendan Sproat and Jeff Williams. So that's why we haven't had those videos. But here's from Mason Avenue. Top 25 Mets prospects for 2026. Jonah Tong at number 3. Next on their list is a right-handed pitcher. Now, I've been talking about this young man for many years, since 2022 when the Mets drafted him. So he is a guy that we have been watching on this channel since 2023. A native of Markham, Ontario, Canada, Jonah Tong grew up in a family of athletes. His skill at baseball quickly became apparent, but given that the family lived in Ontario, there was a distinct lack of opportunities for him to learn, grow, and highlight his skills to professional scouts and evaluators. A student at Bill Carruthers Secondary School in Markham, he transferred to the Georgia Premier Academy for his senior season in 2022. Tong had a commitment to North Dakota State University, but ended up signing with the Mets after they drafted him in the 7th round of the 2022 MLB draft and offered him $225,800 signing bonus, exactly slot value. He did not pitch in 2022, and his 23 season got off to a late start when the Mets initially held him out from organized games until late June. Assigned to the FCO Mets, Antonio finally made his professional debut on June 30th. He made 7 appearances for the team, pitching roughly once a week, and threw a total of 12 and 2/3 innings, allowing 9 earned runs, giving up 9, walking 13, and striking out 25. He was promoted to Single A St. Lucie at the end of August and made 3 appearances with them, allowing 5 earned runs in 8 1/3 innings, allowing 8 hits, walking 9, striking out 13. All in all, it was a forgettable first year as a professional. Tom posted a 6 ERA in 21 innings over 10 games, allowing 17 hits, walking 22, and striking out 38. Despite the poor results, data collected from his pitches showed that the young right-hander was exceptionally talented as a pitcher and that he had major potential. That offseason, seeking to improve his control, Tong adopted a new mentality of not attempting to fine-tune his pitch placement. He also added a new slider to his pitching repertoire, seeking to add a pitch to his arsenal to be a middle ground bridge between his overhand fastball and his big 12-6 curveball. When the 24th season began, the changes to his mentality and repertoire were immediately apparent. Assigned to the St. Lucie Mets, he went unscored for 18 2/3 innings, scattering just 7 hits, giving 5 unintentional walks and striking out 36 of the 68 total batters he faced. He was promoted to High A Brooklyn at the beginning of May, and while he had his share of growing pains there, he added his name to the annals of great Brooklyn Cyclone pitchers, posting a 3.71 ERA in 85 innings with 74 hits allowed, 38 walks, and 110 strikeouts. He was promoted to Double A Binghamton at the beginning of September and ended the season just as strong as he started it, allowing 3 earned runs in 9 1/3 innings with 4 hits, 4 walks, and 14 strikeouts. And 113 cumulative innings between Single A, High A, and Double A, he posted a 3.02 ERA with 85 hits allowed, 47 walks, and 160 strikeouts, the most of any Mets minor leaguer in 2024. Ranked as the Mets' 4th top prospect coming into the season, the 22-year-old quickly picked up where he left off when the season began. The right-hander needed a few weeks to get his pitching legs under him, but by the end of April, he embarked on a magical season, the kind where any start was liable to be a no-hitter, and twice, Tong threw 6 or more no-hit innings. By the time the organization promoted him to AAA Syracuse, the right-hander had a 1.59 ERA in 102 innings, with the Roman opponents with 50 hits allowed, 44 walks, and 162 strikeouts. Tong dominated Double A hitters, and it quickly became apparent that AAA hitters would stand no chance against him. In 2 starts with the Syracuse Mets, Tong threw 11 2/3 innings and did not allow a run, scattering 8 hits, walking 3, and striking out 17. On August 26, Carlos Mendoza and Dave Stearns announced that the 22-year-old would be called up to the Mets, joining recently promoted Nolan McLean, citing how dominant the right-hander had been and how he had exceeded all expectations set for him. On August 29th, he made his first Major League start facing the Miami Marlins. The right-hander allowed 1 earned run over 5 innings, scattered 6 hits, walking none, striking out 6. That was the high watermark for Tong in his late season cup of coffee. Heralded as a savior for a floundering moribund team, Tong simply was not up to the task, highlighting that beneath it all, he was still just a valuable 22-year-old kid. His next four starts against the Reds, Rangers, San Diego Padres, and Cubs, Tom posted a 9.88 ERA and 13.2 dirt innings, allowing 18 hits, walking 9, striking out 16. In those games, there were flashes of brilliance, but not enough to be the change the Mets needed. In the end, Tom posted a 7.71 ERA and 18.2 dirt innings in Queens, allowing 24 hits, walking 9, and striking out 22. With Binghamton and Syracuse combined, the 22-year-old posted a combined 1.43 ERA and 113 two-thirds innings. 58 hits, walking 47, striking 179, and was named minor league pitcher of the year by various baseball outlets. His 162 strikeouts with Binghamton set a Rumble Ponies record and were the most by a Binghamton player since Jesus Sanchez struck out 176 batters and 165 in the third innings in 1997. The strikeout total is third in Binghamton franchise history, behind the aforementioned Sanchez and Bill Pulsipher, who struck out 171 in 201 innings in 1993. That's a name out of the past. Tom throws from a high three-quarters arm slot standing from the far third base side of the rubber. As he pushes and drives off of the mound, extending 6'8", his torso rotates towards first base, effectively raising his arm slot. The 64-degree arm angle that Tong throws from was there only to San Diego Padres right-hander Jeremiah Estrada, and the 66-degree arm angle and Los Angeles Dodgers left-hander Alex Vesia and his 65-degree arm angle. Between his literal stature, the long stride and extension off the mound, and the near over-the-top release point, his mechanics are reminiscent of Tim Lincecum. There's a little bit of Hideo Nomo in him, too, a little bit. The similarities are more than just coincidence, as Tong modeled his pitching mechanics at the two-time Cy Young Award winner. Although Valentin's delivery contributes to one degree or another to the hip and back issues that ultimately ended his career, Tong's mechanics are not as violent as Lincecum's were, and his 6'1", 180-pound frame is able to ergonomically carry the kinetic energy produced by his pitching motions between better than a 5'11", 170-pound freak. And that's what they call Lincecum. Tong has a full force pitch repertoire consisting of a four-seam fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. In his 5-game sample size with the Mets, he threw his four-seam fastball 57% of the time, his changeup 28%, his curveball 12%, and his slider 3% of the time. His slider was recently incorporated into his arsenal 24, and his changeup revamped in 2025. His four-seam fastball sits in the mid-90s, ranging 92 to 98, averaging 95 miles per hour, improved as compared to 2024, when the pitch sat in the low to mid-90s. The pitch 2,270 RPM spin rate is roughly average for a four-seam fastball. It was devastatingly effective to the minor leaguers and extremely effective at the major league level as well. With a spin efficiency of 99% at a 1230 spin axis, Tom was able to generate 19 inches of induced vertical break from those 2,270 RPM, putting him in the top 1%. Additionally, the 3.5 inches of natural cut put the pitch in the top 10% among the four-seam fastballs as well. During the 2024 offseason, Tong developed a new grip for his changeup, a pitch that he used sparingly as compared to the slider and curveball, mainly to neutralize left-handers. Now using not just a Vulcan grip, but a modified two-seam Vulcan grip as opposed to the ordinary four-seam Vulcan grip. Tong unlocked a pitch that quickly ascended and has become his best secondary pitch. Sitting in the mid-80s, the pitch averages 1,700 RPM with 99% spin efficiency from a 145 spin axis. I mean, just incredible rates for the spin on his pitches. I mean, just going through these pitches, just incredible. Tong's control is leagues better than it was when he was drafted, but he still has bouts of command problems and has trouble hitting the strike zone. He maintained a 16.3% line drive rate, 52.9% ground ball rate, and 30.8% ground fly ball rate over the course of his time at Binghamton and Syracuse. And a 25% line drive rate, 37.5% fly ball rate, and 37.5% ground ball rate in his limited major league innings. He was hit harder at the major league level, but his propensity for keeping the ball on the ground and limiting damage combined with the high-octane strikeout stuff is why he was the 2025 MLB Pitcher of the Year. Why he's legitimate top of the rotation potential. Now, couple of things. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. Okay. And he honed into, just reading this, from 2023, he knew what he needed to do to get better. Now, your host had seen him, obviously we saw him in September. He needs work. I mean, he needs just to be able to manage the game. Even in that first start, things were running out of control, and he squeaked through it. But that was sort of a test of his lack of experience, lack of, being in a big place. I mean, he's from Canada, so he probably wasn't playing, when he was playing there, he probably wasn't playing in big parks, probably just, backfields and stuff. And obviously playing in the minor leagues. And then he gets to New York in his first start. And, obviously he was very impressive at times in that first start, but you could see he was a little overwhelmed. He needs to sort of settle in a little bit in terms of being in the majors. He looked at times like a 22-year-old in the major leagues. He didn't look beyond his age. He looked and his stuff is very raw, meaning that there still needs some work to be done. Like I said, needs to have better command. The one thing about this motion is that it's a lot of moving parts. So it's not a simple. It's not a Jacob deGrom motion. Jacob deGrom's motion was very simple. That's why he didn't walk anybody. So that's just to use him as a comparison. Obviously, with that kind of a windup and all the moving parts to it, his command can be shaky, but it has improved majorly from that first stint in 2023 to where he was at the end of last year before he got called up. And then so that was a lot of pressure the Mets put him under. It was very unfair what the Mets did to him and Nolan McLean and Brandon Sproat. It was very unfair, in my opinion. But he's a very exciting player. I would say this. If he is able to harness this stuff in AAA, he didn't spend a lot of time in AAA. He's able to harness that stuff that he has, that he's shown. He will get called up to the major leagues. And if he's able to pitch like he has pitched over the last year and a half, 2 years in the minor leagues, the Mets are going to have a very tough, difficult rotation to beat. He is a key player for the Mets during the middle of the season, or even earlier than that. Because if he has a good spring, or if he has a good start to his season in the minors, and the Mets need him in the rotation, the Mets will take off as a team, because having another pitcher that could be an ace transforms your team. We saw this in 2015 with Noah Syndergaard. I don't put any pressure. Nobody cares what I say. But I can see that very much happening there. That once we get into the season and he's pitching great, and the Mets recognize that he has a chance to be great, the Mets will call him up. And but he's a very exciting player. So let me know what you think about this. Now, not only I don't give you my thoughts on a player because I haven't seen him with these scouting reports, but I've seen Jonah Tong, so I can give you my opinion on him based off the scouting reports, based on what I saw. He needs work, and he's smart enough to figure it out. Mets are very lucky with the guys that they have with some of the pitchers. Nolan McLean's very smart, but thank you for watching this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Prospect Hut, and this is the scouting report for right-handed pitcher Jonah Tong.